Thank you for coming on to Something More. This platform is about forward-moving thinking, forward-moving mindset, forward-moving, juicy, delicious, conscious conversation that we all need in our lives. It really doesn't matter where you are on your journey of life. You could be at a crawl, to a walk, to a run, to a soar. There is always, always room for something more. This platform is about forward-moving mindset, forward-moving thinking, and forward-moving actions that are in alignment with kingdom principles. So we get to come and sit every Tuesday evening and just hold each other's hands, rub each other's backs, and get through the conversation. So my name is Petra, and I am privileged to be able to come and sit with you. I serve alongside my husband in ministry here at Kingdom Mission Ministry, which I'm so glad at this point in my life to be able to serve in the capacity that I do. So we're going to get into the conversation as we always do. We're feeling the music in our souls, and we're swaying back and forth. So we're going to take that deep breath, and we're going to get ready for that conversation. So if you would join me wherever you are, take that deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Right there, we sent our hearts, our minds, and our spirits. Our Father and our God, we just thank you for this opportunity to be able to come and to sit in this room one more time with each other. We ask as we come this evening that you will have your way in our lives. We're so thankful. We're so grateful for who you are in our lives. Thankful that we are loved and we are kept by you. And we just ask this evening, our God and Father, that you will allow this conversation to serve each and every one of us wherever we are on our journey. We ask that you would just allow the conversation to serve us all wherever we are. And it is in Jesus' name we pray. And we say amen and amen. Yes, so we're just going to jump right on in while we wait for others to come on in. Oh, my goodness. I'm here in Florida. I don't know where you are. I know we have people who join on from different places, but goodness, we've had a few days where it's been a bit chilly. And I've just been so excited. You know, in Florida here, you know, we have mostly that tropical climate. You know, so when it gets cool, we're so excited to take our coats out and our boots. So I have a short boot on. Like, you know, my Michael Kors, we're friends. Michael and I are friends. Like, even if he doesn't know it, you know, really. And just to take out the things out of our closets that we don't get to wear quite often and to just throw them on. So I've just been enjoying the cool weather. And I hope wherever you are, it's not too cold and that you're enjoying the weather. You know, I love when the seasons change. And I love when it gets cooler. You know, especially I appreciate it so much more at this point in my life. You know, women of a particular age are always hot, so thank God for the cool air. We're able to cope a little better. We talked about last week not giving up on yourself and not really looking to, you know, talking about someone's weight as that is the usual connotation that surrounds that, but not giving up on yourself in all facets of your life, in all areas of your life. Being willing to push forward and move forward and not giving up on yourself. So what are we talking about this evening? The conversation is going to be in and around. It is November. It is November, and here we're looking forward to Thanksgiving. You know, we're just kind of winding down, looking to come to the end of the year. It's almost over. 2021 is almost done. Goodness gracious. Bless you. 2021 is almost done, and it is indeed November. And as I started to think about November, I said, goodness, we're almost there. And I thought about it. So our conversation is going to be the no in November. In this November, we need to be looking at the word N-O. November. I think that's how we need to say it. So no in November. All right? I know for me that I don't say no enough because I'm at my very core, I'm a giving person, and I like to say yes to almost everything. I like to take care of everyone around me. I like to say yes as much as possible. I like to just get in and do as much as I can most of the times. No wonder why I'm so tired. But I'm just that girl. I love to say yes, and I love to do as much. I love to do as much as I can for as many people as I can. I really, really do have a servant's heart, and my desire is to help as much as I can. That being said, I realize that I don't say no enough most of the times. And it is November, and as we get ready for, coming to the end of the year and embarking upon a new year, we should already have gotten, those of us who are progressive, those of us who are growing, and we're looking forward to just not staying, stagnant, but growing in our lives, we should have already been intentional about looking forward, looking to next year. Do you know what's going to happen in the first quarter? None of us know all the details, but do you have a plan for January, February, and March? Because we're almost done with this. You don't get to think about next year. If you're thinking about next year, you're a day late and more than a dime short. It's going to cost you. So it's important to sit now and to think about, where you're going, make some projections, because that is so necessary in your life. What are you looking to to accomplish for the first quarter or the second or third quarter? That, you should already sit and plan your year out as best as you can, understanding very much that it is by the grace of God we move and be and breathe and have our being, and we know that whatever our plans are, our lives, they are ultimately in God's hands. So we plan with that understanding. It doesn't mean that, tomorrow, whatever can happen, that we should sit back and do nothing. So those of us who are responsible, those of us who are growing, we should have already sat down and look at a calendar. If you have not done it, I would implore you to do that. Sit down, look at a calendar, because we're almost done, just a few more weeks to get 2021 over and out. So sit down with your calendar and make some projections. At the very least, make some plans. What do I want to accomplish in the next 3 months, in the first 3 months, the first quarter of 2022? And you can set it out by subsection in all the areas of your life. How are you changing? What are you doing? And that's why I'm talking about this conversation this evening. I'm leading the conversation. What do we need to say no to right now? So we're not jumping into 2022 with continuing to say yes to some things that we know good and well. You should be a big old no with exclamation signs like no, 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 no. So, and as I said, I realize that I don't say no enough. And not only do I not say no enough to other people, I don't say no enough to me. Like, do you get that? We need to say no sometimes to ourselves, and know enough to ourselves, because sometimes we let ourselves get away with things that we shouldn't be getting away with. So we have to look at how many times we just give ourselves the okay to do or to be, when we know good and well that should have been a no. So it's important to look at what we're doing, how many times, what we're saying yes to, who we're saying yes to, what we're saying yes to. It is so important. So we're not jumping into the upcoming year, if we're so privileged to see it, with the same behavior, because we're going to produce more of the same. So most of us, the truth is, I don't say it enough, and most of us don't say no often enough. And there are times when we need to say no to others, but definitely times when we need to say no to ourselves, especially as we embark upon something that's new. It's, looking at something that's new it's always an opportunity to stop, look, listen, ask questions. What do I need to do differently so we can have different results? And so my conversation is going to be around a few things that I think is important, that I need to say no to, and I'm almost sure you would agree with me. Some things that we all need to say no to, and it's just a few, right? So my hope for us to have a quick conversation this evening. So the first one, what do I need to say no to? What do you need to say no to as well? All right. Some of us need to say no. I need to say no to my childhood messages that reinforces my limiting beliefs. Some of the limiting beliefs that we have, these are belief systems that we have built over the years, and they didn't magically appear. We got them from our childhood, and they can stop us from moving forward. So we have to go back to see from our childhood what we were marinated in and how that is affecting our lives even right now. What are we on automatic about saying yes to because we were reared that way, we were taught that way. So some of these things, they limit us and they impede our growth and our progress, and it's coming from our childhood. So we have to learn to say no to those messages and the limiting beliefs that impede our progress and our growth, and these beliefs that we got from childhood. The truth is, as children, we all learn to be what others expected us to be. We all learned to say what others expected us to say because we were being groomed. We were expected to do and be what mom and dad, or those who had the privilege of rearing us as children. And since childhood, we were taught how to think, how to feel, and how to behave. How to think, how to feel, and how to behave. And as children, we didn't challenge the status quo. We didn't challenge the rules that we were taught. The truth is, because we could not. And we didn't have many choices to make back then. And as for me, as I sat and I prepared for this conversation this evening, I look back and I say, indeed, there were some things that I was taught in my childhood, and I appreciate them to this very day because they've stood the test of time, and they have proven over the decades of my life to be true, and I'm grateful for those lessons. But there are also some things I was taught that, I need to dig that up, like unearth it, and just throw it out because it doesn't serve me anymore. It no longer serves me. And a lot of us are walking, holding on, just saying yes to some of those things that we've learned in childhood that's not serving us right now. So we have to be conscientious enough of what those things are, and be willing to ask the question, what are some of those things that we're saying yes to that we should be saying no to at this moment in our lives. So we're grateful for the lessons and principles we learned in childhood that has stood the test of time. They've stood the test of time, and they've proven to be true. However, many of us are still following the old stuff. We're just in the old, and we will not allow ourselves to let go of some things that are just outdated and old and have proven to not be true. I think it's so funny sometimes when I hear grown adults with old wives' fable, like grown adults with things that their great-grandmother said and there's no basis for it, but yet still it is such a solid rock for those individuals. And no judgment, but when you look at some of those things, it doesn't serve that individual. It literally just keeps them in that place to be just like their great-grandmother. And the truth is, every generation should be a little bit better. So great-grandma did the best she could with what she had, what 3 or 4 generations before her taught her. They did the best they could. But each generation should get better with what we know, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So if you believe like great-grandma in, everything, then you're going to be just like great-grandma, because you cannot grow higher than your thought process. That's the truth we need to understand. Your life cannot be greater than your thought. Whatever you're thinking, the word says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So we're still following some of these rules that have no bearing on our lives today. They can no longer support us. There's really no truth to them, but we hold them and they keep us in a particular place that you don't want to be. So those beliefs and those habits, they will impede your growth and your progress and your transformation. Like back then you'll hear, you got to eat all the food on your plate. Well, I say today, when I'm full, That's it. I heard that growing up as a child. Eat all the food on your plate. And there are many cultures that they show love by how much food they give you or how much food you eat. You can show how much you appreciate your mom by eating every single thing on the plate. Like there's some cultures that operate that way. And I say, and I've heard that in my culture as well, eat all the food on your plate. But today that no longer serves me. I'm just going to eat until I'm full or satisfied, at the very least satisfied, and then I'm done, even if there's more food on the plate. And yeah, that's just a little example, but there's so many more of that we were taught, but it's not serving us today, and it's not necessary to eat all the food on your plate to be healthy and to be strong and just to be nutritionally fulfilled. You don't need to have everything on your plate. And as I said, that's just a quick example, but you have to be willing to ask the questions, the different questions. What am I believing today that no longer serves me? So it is time to say no to everything that undermines our health, our joy, our happiness, our wholeness, our peace. The world is going to be okay if we say no to whatever impedes our joy and our peace and our health and our wholeness. So some questions to ask yourself when it comes to looking at what you and I need to say no to. What have I been told that no longer serves me? What have I been told in my childhood that no longer serves me? Hello to everyone. I see you guys. What have I been told in my childhood that no longer serves me, no longer supports me? It no longer supports my goals, my dreams, the purpose for which I'm created. Do you know what those are? Because you have to identify them so you can say no to them if they no longer serve and support where you are going. There are some things you are going to have to leave behind. You're just going to have to leave them behind because they will impede your progress and your purpose. Another question is, what beliefs do I have that no longer move me forward in my life? That's a good one. Because anything that's just keeping you in the same place is, it serve you as much as it could or can, if it's keeping you just in the same place. Because it's about growth and it's about moving forward. Our God is a forward-moving God. In his words, he said, when the children of Israel were coming out of Egypt trying to get to the promised land, and they stopped so many times in the wilderness just at different places for different reasons. And at one point when they stopped, God said to Moses that I want you to speak to the children of Israel and tell them to go forward because they became stagnant. They had stopped and they were in an area for a long time. And God said, speak to them that they go forward. Tell the children of Israel to go forward. And so God is speaking to us today as well, not just them. And he's telling us, I need you to go forward in your life. There's a scripture that I love, and it's so good that all young believers know and understand this. Paul says it's important to leave the principles of the doctrines, the very basic things. Leaving the principles of the doctrine like baptism and forgiveness and the laying on of hands. He says it's important that you leave those basic things and go on, move forward in your Christian walk, in your Christian journey. You have to move forward. So you cannot just hold on to the basis and all you know is God is love and you come to church every weekend. Those things are great and you should continue to sustain them, but you have to go on. You master them so you can go on. You cannot stop at the principles or the basic ideas or the basic knowledge of your Christian doctrines. You have to go on. So in those two examples, one in the old, one in the new, moving forward is an absolute must in our lives. And saying yes to everything, yes to the old stuff, yes to everyone will keep us grounded. So it's important in November and moving on to begin to own your no's, because we need to say no more often. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. What do I need to say no to? What is it that you need to say no to that will create more spaciousness for your yes? What do you need to say no to in your life that will create more space, more spaciousness, rather, for your yes, your yeses? What do you, because the truth is, you have to say no to some things so you can say yes to some things. If you're saying yes to everything, then you will have no space for the things that are really important that you need to say yes to, because you're filled up, you're completely booked, because you're saying yes, 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 yes to everything and everyone, so you have no space. So that's very, very important. So another thing it's important to say no to. So the first one is we need to say no to things that are no longer serving us, especially those things that are coming from our childhood or we learn, in the first decade of our lives. We are growing up. We're big little girls, and there's some things we're going to have to leave behind if we're going to progress and become that woman that we know we can be, become that self-actualized individual. So another thing we need to say no to is no to everything that steals my joy and my peace. Like, no to everything that steals my joy and my peace. No to things. Say no to things you don't enjoy. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I thought I was the only one who thought that. Most of us are, except for those beautiful people who are kind of born like on the skinny side of life. Most of us are like on a diet and just trying to maintain our weight and to live a healthy lifestyle. And I always thought in my head, you know what? Calories are so important. 3,500 calories equal 1 pound. And everything you eat equals, it has calories. And why should you eat something you don't enjoy? Like, why should you really eat something that just tastes nasty and it's in your mouth and you're not enjoying that thing, and it has so many calories? And somebody said, I'm just saying, no, if it don't taste good, I'm not eating it. And I'm just like, I feel you. I'm like, I totally feel you, because I have that thought as well. So no to the things you don't enjoy. And a lot of times we do things just for doing them. A lot of times we eat things just for eating, just to be chewing. There's no enjoyment. And eating should be pleasurable. It's one of the pleasures that we do have. Eating should be pleasurable most of the times. It should be pleasurable. It's one of the things that God has given us to be able to, he says he satisfies our mouths with good things to eat, to make fat our bones. Well, praise the Lord. So he satisfies us with good things. So it's important that when you're even down to what you're eating, God wants us to enjoy, because he's given us good things to eat. He wants us to enjoy what we're having to eat. As long as it's healthy and it's serving our bodies well, we should enjoy those good things he's given us. So, you need to say no to just eating stuff that, if you like me eating like cold fries, like seriously, just eat cold pizza. Like, who does that? You feel me? Like, who does that? Just because you just got to chew or you're so hungry. Like, no, just have something that when you're eating it, you're just like, enjoy it. Enjoy those calories. So it's important to say no to everything that steals your joy and your peace. And no to things you don't enjoy most of the times. So the question you need to ask, is, what am I choosing that undermines my joy? What foods are you choosing to eat that is just absolutely horrible? But here you go, chugging for no good reason. Like just to chew. You know, what are you choosing? Because again, I love this word choosing. It's important to realize that we are choosing these things. Okay? Most of us are on automatic that we're choosing and we're not even paying attention to the choices. But we are choosing nonetheless. We are choosing. So the question is, what are you choosing that's undermining your joy and your peace and your enjoyment? And how can having more joy and peace rejuvenate your life at this point? Because if you know how what you choose can rejuvenate and sustain and support your life, we're more inclined to choosing that thing. Can you imagine just living with a little more joy and a little more peace? Living in enjoyment, just enjoying your relationships, the relationships that you're in. Romantic, platonic, special friendships, just to be in them and enjoy them. What would a little more joy, choosing a little more joy or a little more peace do to rejuvenating those relationships in your life? What could it do in your business, in your career? A little more joy in your spiritual walk. My goodness, that you're no longer in the religious thing of just going to church because it's what you do. But you're actually doing it because you enjoy being in the presence of the Lord. Like I enjoy praising and worshiping the Lord. Like I enjoy just sitting in prayer. It doesn't matter how tired I am. Once I get in, I'm all the way in because my soul enjoys being with God and talking to God and communing with him in prayer. No matter how tired I am, I just need to open the doors of prayer. Open the door of prayer in my life, and I go in, and I just can't even believe how far I got up in my prayer, and I was so tired to begin with, you know? Have you ever been just like so tired you feel like, oh, you just can't even tunnel a prayer through? Like one hand up, two hands up, and a foot. I like you always there and ready to go. No. Most of us, sometimes we get tired, even in prayer. The disciples did get tired in prayer. Jesus said in the Garden of Gethsemane, he said, just stay with me and watch and pray with me. And Jesus just went away a little bit further to pray. And when he came back, they were fast asleep. They were tired. They could not stay up on that prayer mountain. They got tired. And sometimes we get tired in prayer. But when your heart really loves something, it is your spirit that really will come and help you in those moments of weakness. When you have weakness in the flesh, your spirit will come because the spirit really knows. And the word tells us that the spirit helps us to pray. So don't ever allow that to be an excuse for you. This is just a side note. When you're tired not to pray, just begin praying. Just begin praying. And your help will come in the midst of prayer. And you will be surprised how far you got and how deep you got in prayer just because you were willing to start. So enjoy. Don't just do something just to do it, but infuse more joy and infuse more peace. Like, don't just go to work because it's a paycheck. Just actually try to enjoy what you do. And if you don't, it's time to begin, like right now, to look for something that you can have more joy and more peace. If you're on a job that every day you're cussing and you're wondering if you're saved, you probably are not on the right job. You need or ask God to give you the grace for more peace and more joy so you can literally enjoy your work and you can literally have peace with the people with whom you work. Because it's not good for you to just be in constant fighting back and forth with people, regardless of whatever working relationship, a marriage, friendship, whatever it is, child-parent relationship. It's important to have joy and peace. It's so important. So say no to everything and everyone, because some people, they are joy vampires, honey. They see you happy and they come to take your happy. Like they got to come up with something to stop your smile. Like some people just don't like to see other people smile. You know what they say? That misery loves company. It is really true. It is so true. So no to everything that has the potential or the capacity to steal your joy and your peace, it is not worth it, honey. Because it is the joy of the Lord that strengthens us. And I don't know about you, and but I need all that strength I can get. I need all the strength of the Lord. So I need my joy. So I will not donate it to people and things. So you got to say no to those situations and those individuals that have the potential to steal your joy or your peace. So what are you choosing again? That's the question. What are you choosing that undermines your joy and your peace? That's a question. What are you choosing? Are you choosing to be in a relationship with, with people who just, in your heart that this relationship has come to an end. It has done what it needed to do. And so you just need to bless it and complete with it. Like, stop dragging around relationships from year to year, being in relationship with people from year to year, when you just need to bless it and let it rest, okay? Let that individual go on to somebody else and be a blessing to them, because they cannot be a blessing to you. Neither can you be a blessing to them, okay? Yes, yes, and yes. All right? Another thing that you need to consider saying no to, because I've considered this myself. How y'all doing there? Hello, Denise. Good to see you, darling. All right? Say no to people that are not assigned to you. Say no to people that are not assigned to you. Child, let me tread lightly. No to people that are not assigned to you. The truth is, you and I are not sent to everyone, okay? And everyone was not sent to us. There are people that are assigned to you, and there are people that you're assigned to. What do I mean? There are people that you're meant to walk with. There are people that were meant to support you, and vice versa. And it is a problem when you get in what I'm going to call a situation, okay, with these individuals that were really not assigned for your life. Because if they're not an assignment, they are going to become a problem. A huge liability for your joy and your peace, okay? We just talked about that. So it's important to say no. Stop saying yes to people who you just know are there with an expectation of you. Some people are just they just expect you to do things because. And they're not assigned to you, and you know you're not assigned to them. Stop saying yes to people who want to use you and who want to use your resources and use your time and use, other people want to get in touch with everybody just like that. And that is so rude. Now, PG Pat preached like 2 weeks ago. He said, don't let nobody use you but Jesus, okay? Okay? And some people in your life, that's their main goal, is to try to use somebody. And it is just not nice. Use and abuse. Do not let people use and abuse it, because when you begin to value yourself enough, oh no, honey, you just push that big red button that says, no. Okay? No, no, no. Do not let people use and abuse you. So Jesus already saved the world, so nobody else needs to do that. He already saved the world. No one else needs to do that. So, it's important to grow where you're planted and strive to be effective and show your value to those to whom you are assigned. It's important to understand, how do you know if you are not assigned to someone or if someone's not assigned to you? How do you know? Because there are clues. Hello, Crystal, darling. How are you? How do you know if someone is not assigned to you or you're not assigned to them? I mean, it's the situation. It's important to know. All right? So those who are not assigned to you, they will not receive you. They will not receive you. Whatever direction you want to go in, there's always an opposite. Those who you are not assigned to, they will not receive you. They will never value your pearls. I don't care how cute they are. They will never value your pearls, your goodness, your uniqueness, who you are, what you bring to the table. They just can't see it. Those who are not assigned to you will never perceive your value or discern your worth. And they will always tend to go in the opposite direction of where you're going. Most of the times they're trying to cancel out whatever you're doing. There is no true harmony. And if you're paying attention, you will see. If you're paying attention, you will know if someone values you or not. If you're paying attention, you will know if someone discerns your worth or not. Or if they're here to use you. To just, get what they can get. So it is so important to say no. Don't take that over, in the new year. It's really true. So that's how you know. They will never receive you. And if they do, it won't be for long. Because people, they can't keep up the pretense for too long. So they'll never receive you. They will not value your pearls. They will not value, they cannot perceive your value or discern your worth. And they will always tend to go in the opposite direction of where you're going. If you have an idea, they always have one greater. If you say no to something, they're always trying to show you why you should say yes. If you say this, they're always trying to tell you why you're wrong. There's no acknowledgement of who you are. There's no affirmation of who you are as an individual. And so we have to just grow up real fast and stop wasting our time and energy in these relationships that cannot serve us. I do not want to be in a relationship that I don't get value from. I just really. And I do not want anyone to be in a relationship with me, to whom I cannot offer anything. Because guess what? There is someone out there to offer you something, and it ain't me, and I'm cool with that. Because I'm not sent to everyone, and everyone's not sent to me. I couldn't be everybody's wife, boo. No. And sure enough, my husband could not be everybody's husband. Because I told him, I said, everybody get to see you. A running joke we have. But I tell them, come pick you up. Because I'm giving them 2 days. And they're going to drop you right back off with it, 24 hours. And they're going to drop you right back you can have him. And he tells me, only you could deal with me. Because, you know me. It's a running joke Daddy and I have. Yeah. You're not assigned to everyone. And it is okay. And so this year, your relationships are so important. They're the waters of your life, those that you mingle with. It's so, so important. So we have to trim them. And the older you get, it's even more necessary to do that. The older you get, it's important to stop and trim relationships. Am I offering value to this individual? And does this individual offer value to me? And if it's okay if the answer is no. Are you guys with me? Yes? It's okay. Because sometimes if you're holding on to others, you're preventing them from those they're assigned to. And when you're holding on to relationships, you're also preventing those who are assigned to you from coming. So important. So no. That's one of the things that's so important to say no to. Another thing that's important to say no to Say no to leaving or forsaking your dreams because you think it's too late or someone thinks you should. It's never too late. You, as I said last week, you don't give up on you, darling. You don't give up on you. Because the truth is, the word of the Lord says it, and I believe it, all things are possible with God. For with the Lord, all things are possible. And if you are with him, if I am with him, then with him, all things are possible. So say no to leaving your dreams behind. I don't care how many times you've tried and have fallen forward, because you don't try and fail. You try and something happened and you learn. But there's no failure. You're learning in the process. So you get back up every time you fall and you move forward. So you just gather information. You gather information and you never stop, because it's never too late. With God, it's never too late. No matter what people may say, it is never too late. So don't leave your dreams behind and don't forsake them because you think you've tried 5 times and nothing happened. Be willing to try as many times as you need to, but don't forsake your dreams because it's a part of who you are. It's like a part of your DNA. Those things, your dreams, it really is something that God has placed in your heart. It's a part of your purpose. So if you know that, don't leave it behind. Be willing to fight for it. Be willing to do it over and over and over and over again until you get to where you need to get to. Because grace enough has been supplied for you to get to that place. As long as you don't give up, you can make it. And I'm not just saying in this conversation this evening, I'm not just saying say no to these things just to say no. The primary reason we want to say no to a lot of things that we're right now saying yes to, including some things we say yes to ourselves, it's so important to say no so we're not too filled up with saying yes to everything, that the things that are so important to us, when they do come along, we can't say yes to them. If you're filled up with all types of relationships, when that relationship, another one comes that you should be saying yes to, you can't even discern it because you just have so many relationships. You can't discern the one that's coming or is right in front of your face. It's like I've heard before, it's important to clear your closet out at least once a year. If you're going to get new clothes, just don't constantly bring new stuff in. Clear some of the old stuff out so you can make room for what's new. Because then if you don't, you start to hoard. And that's not a good situation. All right? So you want to say no primarily so you can say yes to the things that really, really matter to you. If you say yes to everything, you will have no space, no capacity to say yes to the things that are really important to you. And that's why it's important to not say yes to everything and everyone. The truth is, what you create space for comes quicker, sooner, faster. What you create space for comes quicker, sooner, faster. If you're in a relationship with a man who you know is not your man, if you are dating someone, and I don't care how long you've been dating him, 10 years, and you find out that this is not the man for you, you need to have the strength enough to release that relationship. Because the longer you hold on to something you know in your heart is not assigned to you, you are preventing what is actually assigned to you from coming. So when you create space, for that which is new, for that which will come, and you create that space, it will come quicker, sooner, faster. But if it's filled up, it's just saying, I have nowhere to go, so I'm waiting on you to create space for me. It's important, so important to remember. What you are willing to walk away from determines what God will bring to you. All right, I'll say that one more time. Remember, what you are willing to walk away from will determine what God will bring to you. So simply put, you cannot say yes to everything. You have to say no, and you have to be willing to walk away from some things. And what you're willing to walk away from will determine what God will bring to you. You can't have it all the time. Not only is it important to say no to some things, we also need to learn to say no to ourselves at times. If we're saying yes to ourselves and it's taking us out of alignment with our goals and our dreams, it's preventing us from reaching the place where we want to reaching our goals and living within our purpose, then we have to learn to say no to ourselves as well. And in this season, we need to practice that. You know, we're coming up Thanksgiving. You know, we're coming up Christmas, cookies everywhere. You know, cake, black cake, you name it, all the things we love. Sometimes we have to learn to say no. And not just to people, but also to ourselves. What you create space for comes quicker, sooner, faster. So get good at saying no. So it is November. So practice it this month and practice it in December. So you get into next year by God's grace, having that muscle strengthened, the no muscle. Like, absolutely not. I can't say no to that because it will not serve me. So no to people you can't serve and those who cannot serve you. It's okay. You love them. It doesn't mean that you're mad at them, or if they need anything, you won't be there for them. But if they cannot serve you and you find out that you're not assigned to them, be willing to say no as well. So I want to thank you for being in conversation with me this evening, for allowing me to lead the conversation. It was announced this week, but I'm going to say it. I am going on a little hiatus. The last Tuesday of this month will be the last of this season of almost 2 years of coming faithfully every Tuesday live to my sisters and just sitting with you. I need a little bit of time to just regroup, a little bit of time to work on some things like my book that it takes so much energy and so much time. So I need a little bit of time to just do some things that I have said yes to already, to complete those tasks. So coming back in March, the second week in March, the second Tuesday in March. So hang on in there with me. And of course, every Tuesday, you're still going to have something to hear from me because we have so much in our archive that's still so important conversations. So still join on and, get the conversation. So until next time, keep on looking up for your something more. I am your sister in love, in prosperity, and in purpose. No matter where you are on your journey, there is room for something more. We are on the journey of growth and transformation. So say no to yourself. Say no to the things that don't serve you. Be willing and be bold enough to say no when you know you need to say no. So I love you. Take good care of yourself. And until next time, walk good. Bye-bye.